Gears, welcome to the Onyx Academy, where I will be covering the Infiltrator in today's video. Everything about the class will be covered, giving you 2 different meta builds, all within 6 minutes. These builds are purely meta, that most people gravitate to, but if these don't match up with your playstyle, then be sure to change these up to suit yourself. With that out of the way, let's begin. Starting with the ultimate for this class, Cloak, where you will turn invisible. This lasts for 15 seconds and has a 5-minute cooldown, though dealing damage brings this down faster. While cloaked, you can execute drone enemies and melee others without breaking your invisibility. Shooting any weapon while invisible will end your ultimate early, though your passive will cause ballistic damage to deal 10 times its normal amount. Your standard loadout for the Infiltrator will consist of the Retro Lancer, Nasher and Talon Pistol. Try to hand off your retro to a veteran, or swap it with an overkill that a few classes start with. Moving on to builds now, this first one, the Assassin build, will focus on your ultimate to execute drone enemies, having your ultimate last entire waves. Here are the skill cards. Chain. Executing enemies while cloaked adds up to 5 seconds to your ultimate duration for each enemy killed. Cloak batteries, giving up to an additional 9 seconds on your cloak's duration. Blood resonance, which has you deal up to 160% additional damage to enemies afflicted with the bleed status effect. Laceration, causing shotgun hits against enemies within 5 meters to deal bleeding damage for up to 110% damage per second for 5 seconds. This stacks with blood resonance. Reaper, having a shotgun equipped and killing an enemy by any method will generate up to a 50% health stim shield, stacks up to 100%. Perks are next. Take your perks in the following order. Movement speed, to get around the map up to 30% faster and execute more enemies. Shotgun damage, dealing up to 50% more damage with the Nasher and Overkill, further increasing laceration and blood resonance effects. Health, so you can take an extra hit or 2 if you do lose your cloak early with up to 50% additional health. Health regeneration, causing any damage to recover up to twice as fast, though Reaper will make this irrelevant most of the time. If playing Horde Frenzy or any other shorter length Horde mode, only take movement speed and shotgun damage. Leave these around rank 6 or 7 if your team is struggling for energy. Keep your Nasher, swap out your retro for an overkill, or give it to a veteran, they will appreciate it. Choose your preferred pistol and grenades, these don't really matter. This build works best with Combat Medic, useful to revive you at a distance when outside your base. Demolitions or Tactician, enables these classes to focus on larger targets and bosses while you clean up drones. This build will struggle when paired with Veteran or Marksman. These classes excel at taking out drones quickly at a distance, making this difficult to pull off. Nomad, specifically a Nomad causing a lot of fear through their ultimate and skill cards, causing enemies to sprint away from you. This is one of my favourite builds to use in Horde, though I will opt for something else or modify this build when these mutators show up. Ultra slow recharge, long range gambit. The Assassin build works up to and including master difficulty and requires a minimum class level of 16. Be cautious when your ultimate is coming to an end and remember not to run through enemy fire. My second recommendation is the Sapper build, primarily using your shotgun and bleeding damage whilst maintaining a tanky stim shield. Cloak is used purely for the Infiltrator's passive ability. Here are the skill cards. Blood resonance, deal up to 160% more shotgun damage against enemies afflicted with bleed. Laceration, causing all shotgun hits within 5 meters to deal just slightly more with additional bleeding damage. Reaper, generates stim whenever you kill an enemy whilst having a Nasher or Overkill equipped. Stim batteries, increases the size of the stim shield an Infiltrator can have, up to more than 3 times the normal amount. Enhanced stim, damage taken against your stim shield is reduced by up to 60%, greatly increasing your effective health pool. Perks once again, take them in this order. Shotgun damage, increasing your damage output with both shotguns by up to 50% to help with those bigger targets. Movement speed, helpful for closing the distance on any enemy just outside your range. Health, giving you slightly more health to survive, up to 50%, though you will be relying on stim to keep you alive. Health regeneration, recovering from any damage taken faster, though Reaper once again makes this slightly irrelevant. When playing shorter Horde games like Frenzy, focus mostly on shotgun damage and put just a couple of points into movement speed or health, depending on the situation. Best played with both the Nasher and Overkill once again. Swap your retro with teammates or keep an eye out for Grenadiers or DR1s. Flashbangs are going to be the most effective, especially into certain bosses, and your pistol choice doesn't matter. This close range build works best with Mechanic, Robotics Expert or Architect. These classes will build some fortifications to let enemies get close enough for you to bleed, and decoys to help distract them. Veteran or Marksman. These classes are ideal for taking out smaller enemies or weakening bigger ones, letting you take them out when they get close enough. Poor synergy with the following: Demolitions or Tactician, only depending on specific bosses. All three are great for killing bosses fast, but you don't need most of the team dedicated to do this. Nomad. Once again, feared enemies will run out of range, making it difficult to be effective. Although this build is extremely versatile, its shortcomings are extremely noticeable when these mutators are active, so you should modify the build or go for something else. Long range gambit, ultra stopping power, even stronger enemies. This Sapper build also works up to and including master difficulty as well, requiring your Infiltrator to be a minimum class level of 12. Great for specific bosses, be careful not to get picked up by matriarchs or carriers. Keeping these videos short, like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't. Other social links are in the description box below. Take it easy guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.